Hello, my name is Salvador Razo Hernandez, and in this video I want to share a couple paragraphs of my book titled Established Religions, the Problem and Not the Solution. In this book we are going to decode all of the major religions. So what is a religion? We are also going to examine the top 5 religions of the world, or what I like to call the 5 most accepted programs of disorder, available to all of us, the human slaves, who are forced to accept disorder masqueraded as order, as we have been doing it for thousands of years. Established religions, the problem and not the solution. So how is it that a religion makes us human slaves? Are we not independent people who are in charge of our lives and free from oppression? Haven't we gone through revolutions where bloody battles were fought for our liberty? We have inherited the idea of liberty as a constant and not a path to strive for. In other words, we have inherited parasitism. We have a holiday that we celebrate every year to remind us of our freedom. There is no need for liberty. This is the paradox. So how are you going to fight for something that people keep telling us that we already have? Liberty and enslavement are relative. We believe the fantasies that are offered to us, and we are too complacent to investigate otherwise. In other words, people will go their entire lives thinking they are free individuals when the reality is different. We are unable to see the chains for what they are. We are unable to remove the blindfold because we are used to living in the dark. We feel safe with all of our collected ideas, and we are scared by the notion that we have been deceived all of our lives. We are unable to see how religions make slaves out of us, slaves to ignorance, slaves to confusion, slaves to disorder, slaves to misery, slaves to defending a system that is outdated and inadequate. In other words, we have been programmed by the code of the religion to defend its ignorance. We are unable to cure ourselves from the sickness that runs through our veins, because the sickness is normal. We are used to living in the dark, and we defend our own right to be living in this mystery. There is a fear of discovering the fact that we are really not free, because that would mean we're actually responsible for doing something, fixing our lives. In other words, we are afraid of the responsibility that comes from this knowledge that we have been duped by all religions. The implication would mean that we have been lied to this. We have been lied this whole time. We are then presented with a problem that seems too complicated. The topic is just too strange to even contemplate. The idea there is something wrong, not just with one religion, but all religions, is just too weird, too complex, unimaginable, uncharted, and unfathomable. As if God and creation itself will punish you for thinking such a thing. God and creation would not allow such a thing. How is it that how has this happened? The reality is that all of our religions are actually concerted fraud, a concoction of lies, a conglomeration of ideas, a recycling of all religions, a robbed heist taken from crucified heroes of our world. Established religions are a byproduct of a mechanism that has regurgitated a system of ideas to the benefit of our own enslavement. The reality is that we are presented with just enough information to keep us imprisoned in the fantasy the oppressor has designed, the illusion, the reality that benefits the status quo, the disorder. If you are really interested in freedom from ignorance and how that relates to all of our established religions or any established system of ideas, please read on. If the subject is too sensitive for you, burn this book immediately and run to your favorite establishment to seek refuge from the truth. I will not be lying to you. If you are really interested in finding out how religions are actually the problem and not the solution, prepare yourself to find out. Our society is used to having everything ready and available for us all the time. We are incompetent in seeing a problem in its totality, and this is because we have been programmed to be who we are. We have been tamed and domesticated to be passive slaves to our own misery, passing on our misery to our children and blaming God or creation for such a terrible world. We have been led to our own slaughter. We are but lambs led to the sacrificial rite of passage. We have been herded into our own demise. We are but beasts to each other. It is not wonder we accept a religion that is the servant of our own selfishness. How can God or creation be so horrible? I want to reveal to you how all of this nonsense is actually a blessing in disguise. If you only knew that misery is only a wake-up call, an alarm, a path before us, a step necessary to graduate from ignorance, then you would understand why the mechanism is so busy lying to us all. In other words, the mechanism is this negatively charged vortex that attracts people who do not know any better, that are not willing to find out what God or creation really mean. It comes from a very from will, if you really want to find out what God is, then you will not accept anyone's definition of what that is. When you accept someone's definition of something that is limitless, then you are in a position that benefits the mechanism. So all of this, so what it is now, the situation we find ourselves in, is only a chance for us to graduate from that ignorance. Then you would understand why God or creation supports and grants so much power to the mechanism, to the liar, or any element that will facilitate falsehood. So this goes to the idea that one must be able to differentiate between that is godly and that is not. And so it doesn't come from a stand of being told what to do, or being obedient, or being or following the herd. It comes from a stand of being able to empowerment and responsibility to seek a path that best surrounds your intent. So then, in order to graduate from ignorance, a solution must be designed, established, maintained, and cared for, not by the established authority, who is but a toy puppet of the same disorder, but your own custom solution in consideration with your intent. God and creation does not favor parasitism in your mind, your actions, your life, and in your world. Only slaves to misery, only animals to their own discord deserve such reality. So, in other words, there are religions out there that fit a type of mentality that is only a perdition of humanism. There is the religion of that is fit for their bestiality. Only parasites who would do nothing choose to live in disharmony